everyone, so welcome back to my channel. Welcome to another video. If you are new here, I'm Jen, and as I've said a million times before, I like to share my journey on a GLP-1 for weight loss, strength training, just trying to build sustainable habits, the ups and downs, it all. And today I want to cover a topic that is all around how you can talk to your doctor about starting a GLP-1 for weight loss. And I know, at times it can feel a little scary. Maybe you're nervous about, being judged, or you've had the experience in the past where, your weight wasn't taken seriously. And maybe you've even been brushed off from a doctor when you tried to bring it up to them before. I've been there. I was told to try intermittent fasting with no instructions on what that meant. And I want to just tell you, I think you deserve to have a conversation. I think you deserve to have the support from your doctor. And I think by the end of this video, you'll have, practical steps, some exact phrases you can use, and just a clear plan on really how you can bring this up to your doctor with the confidence. And I think my motivation behind this really just stems from one of my friends. So one of my friends has been very reluctant to start and just kind of worries about, what others will think and their family will think and how they'll also feel on it, the side effects and what if it doesn't work. And I just kept getting a lot of unknowns. So I want to first talk about why I think this is important, because GLP-1 medications like Wegovy, Mounjaro, Zepbound, they are not cheat codes. I say it all the time. They are not an easy out by any means. They're tools backed by science that can help regulate, appetite, reduce food noise, improve metabolic health. There's so many more things just coming out every day. And if you try diet and exercise over and over and, that the weight always finds a way to come back, I don't think that's a personal failure. I think that in the end of game is just biology, and obesity can be, in most people's cases, a chronic condition. It deserves medical treatment, just like high blood pressure or diabetes. So when you get into this conversation, remember, you are not begging for a quick fix. You need to know that you need to advocate for medical care. And I think that mindset shift alone can really change the way I think you feel walking into your appointment to talk about starting a GLP-1. I think preparation is everything. And I think walking in with a clear plan helps you feel in control. And here's what I also recommend. So first of all, not a medical professional, I'm just talking about my experiences and the things that I've read and things that I've thought about doing. First of all, write down your health history. Do you have prediabetes, PCOS, high cholesterol, sleep apnea? Write it all down. Family histories of type 2 diabetes, heart disease. Know all of that, because these conditions often will make you a strong candidate for a GLP-1. Document all your past attempts. Write down the diets you've tried, exercise routines you've done, and just really how sustainable they were. And for example, I did keto, this is ages ago, for 6 months, lost 20 pounds. I felt horrible, but I gained it back when I could not stick to the restrictions. It wasn't a long-term solution for me. I think in these cases, you have to clarify your goals, not just I want to lose weight. Maybe I want to improve my energy so, you can keep up with your kids. Or I want to bring down my A1C so I'm not at risk for diabetes. Get my blood pressure under control. This step shows your doctor that you have been, intentional and thoughtful and not chasing a fad, which I believe some people think it is. And I think at this time is where people can freeze up a little bit. What do I actually say to my doctor? So here are some scripts you can use. Feel free to tweak them specific to you. I've been researching, you could say something like, I've been researching GLP-1 medications for weight management, and I like to talk about whether they might be the right fit for me. I've tried multiple approaches to lose weight. I've talked to you multiple times about this, haven't been able to keep it off. I want to discuss medical options like GLP-1s that can support my health goals. I've read GLP-1s, can help with appetite and food noise, which are my biggest struggles I deal with every day. Is this something we could consider. And I think the key is, state your struggles clearly. Show that you've tried other methods. Express just like genuine interest in learning whether a GLP-1 can be appropriate for you. And think of it as like starting a conversation, not asking for a prescription right away. And I think your goal is to just open the door. The doctors, I think, appreciate when patients come in with thoughtful questions and they're prepared, because you are limited with time and that sucks. But I think here are some things that you could bring with you, like benefits, like what the benefits of GLP-1 can do to a specific health condition that you have. Are there any risks or side effects that I should be aware of given my health history that they should know? How often would we need to follow up if I were to start? And also, like, what happens if I stop taking it? How will that be managed? Open conversation. And there are other medications or treatments like you'd recommend. Can you recommend any instead of or alongside of a GLP-1? What are the costs and, insurance considerations? Having questions shows that you're not just looking for a quick script. You're looking for a long-term health management. And now, let's be real. Not every doctor is up to speed on obesity medicine. They're not. And some may say just, the normal tagline, diet and exercise, let's try it again without a GLP-1. And if that happens, don't shut down. Instead, maybe don't get worked up and just say, I understand lifestyle is important, and I'm committed to those changes, but I'd also like to know if a GLP-1 could support me in making those changes sustainable. Like, don't just take the first thing that come at you as the end all, or could you refer me to an endocrinologist or recommend an obesity medicine specialist? I think this is the time for you to advocate for yourself. You're not being pushy. I think you're being proactive. And if one doctor isn't supportive, you can always seek a second opinion. Don't give up if you truly believe, based on your health history, you need one of these medications. And I want to share a little bit about my journey. So back in January of 2023, I embarked on yet another weight loss attempt. I was working out at Orange Theory Fitness, so I signed up for their, fitness transformation challenge. And it was a 8-week challenge where I had to commit to 3 classes. I was doing that anyway per week for 6 of the 8 weeks of the challenge. You did a initial and end in-body scan, and the focus was on body fat reduction, muscle gain. There's just so many different things that were part of it. And I want to put a photo of me at the start of that. It's only upper, so I'm sorry, but that's me at my highest weight ever. I weighed 261 pounds at 5'9". And my goal that I put myself during that challenge was to lose 15 pounds. That to me was a healthy 2 pounds a week. But deep down inside, I knew all my other past attempts, I was going to crush that goal. I was bringing my A game. I thought if I locked into a low calorie class and not only just took 3 classes a week, but I also went to the gym the other remainder of the days and did some weight training, some other things, the weight would fall off like it had in my 20s and 30s. 6 pounds, week 1 weigh-in. I was mentally ready, but physically my body was moving so slow behind me. I had very high blood pressure. I had terrible headaches. I really felt like I could push myself through anything, but that was the old me. I really struggled. And that first week, even consistently doing everything, I lost 1 pound and I felt like I was such a failure. I knew I was in a calorie deficit because I was tracking and because I was on an extreme diet, in my opinion, because I was like, let's do something stupid. Let's simplify it. Let's think of how does a bodybuilder cut for show day? Who thinks of stuff like that? It was chicken, rice, and broccoli for lunch and dinner, and I did a protein shake for breakfast. Perfect portions for me, for my calories for the day. I did that for 3 weeks, right? I lost 4 pounds. By the end of the challenge, in 8 weeks, I lost 6 pounds from what I can recall. Now, with all I was doing, I should have easily lost more than that. And I was heartbroken. I was lost. I was like, that's all I've ever known to lose weight. And I kept thinking, if I have to lose 100 pounds, based off of my January back in 2023 weigh-in at that rate, it would take me over 2 years of extreme measures. And once again, I knew extreme side is not the way I wanted to do things, but that's all I ever knew. And it failed for me. And it was a wake-up call. And I just happened to have an appointment with my primary care physician. And I said, I need help. And it's very rare for me to ask for help. And I said, I need help. I told him exactly everything that I did for 8 weeks. I told him all about my past history, the times that I would lose and gain and how I would do it. I was so worried about my family's health history, and I'm having these headaches and blurry vision. I'm like, I'm on the verge of a stroke or a heart attack. I just know it. And for the first time in my life, I had no control. And I couldn't believe I let myself get to this point. But here we were. And I said, I need help. And instead of him saying, the same, eat less, exercise more, try intermittent fasting, he knew I was locked in for 8 weeks and I needed help. So to say that, any other way wouldn't have mattered if I just went in and said I want it, I don't know. But full disclosure, I was asking really for advice on obesity specialists, therapy. I didn't even bring up GLP-1s because back then they weren't such a huge thing. And they were just starting to gain traction for obesity management. And so here I am asking for help, thinking these other measures. And he said, want to take a look at Wegovy? And I wasn't prepared for that. I was like, I don't know. I have to do some research. And he said, you know what? Come back to me. We'll schedule a virtual meeting appointment. Go look at your insurance, see what they cover. Come with me with questions once you do the research. And it was just one of those rare things where my doctor recommended it to me. So comment below, did you go asking for it or did your doctor recommend it to you? Because I think with everything that's changed in the world of GLP-1s, I think it's more likely you're going to ask the doctor for the prescription versus what my experience was. But I learned Wegovy was not covered by my insurance. So I was like, okay, that's not an option. But we learned Mounjaro was even without a type 2 diabetes. So we went with that. And I was able to get insurance coverage for over a year and a half. And I'm very blessed and I'm very thankful for that. But since starting a GLP-1, I've lost 90 pounds. I've gained back not just like health, but confidence. And I say that not to like brag, not to remind you, it all started with just one conversation. I need help. So let me recap. I really think that to do this, you need to go in prepared with your health history, past attempts and goals. And also just use like clear, simple language to bring up GLP-1s. You can have a little emotion to it. And just make sure you're asking the good questions and advocate for yourself. And if you get pushback, this could be where, you have that conversation and then eventually it could possibly change your life, because I think you deserve to feel supported. You deserve to, feel heard, and you deserve, to take your health seriously. And so if you found this video helpful, I really, really, really would love if you hit that like button and comment below so more people can see this content. I just want to encourage people to kind of speak freely about what they want and what they need. And like I said, if your doctor is anti one of these medications and it is what you need, find another doctor, find a telehealth company. I have no allegiance to any one of them. I can tell you right now, I have worked with Join Fridays. They were phenomenal. I have worked with Orderly. They have been phenomenal. And I've worked with Mochi Health. Phenomenal. 3 ones that I have worked with. So this isn't me promoting any particular telehealth company if your doctor says no. And maybe that might be the route that you want to go down, because you may want to work with somebody that really has a little bit more background into obesity management. That's all for you. But what I said in this video is exactly what I said to one of my friends. I said, you can't worry about the unknowns. You can't. All you have to do is say, do I want to be an advocate for myself to improve my health? Here's an opportunity. You won't know unless you try. To put it bluntly, starting a GLP-1 has definitely changed my life. And I don't know where I would be without it, but I also know that it is a tool. It is a tool in my toolbox to not only help me, but get me to that future state that I'm looking for. But I thank you all so much for checking out today's video. If you haven't, hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of my future videos. But I will catch you all later. Bye.